Hey viewers, and welcome to another video where I talk about my anxiety and my experiences with it. This is going to be number 6 in the anxiety journals, and today I'll cover my anxiety and school. So for a long time I can remember with my anxiety that a lot of times, like for when I was like in elementary school, it was focused around school in itself, just even going to school. Going to school and doing presentations and stuff, that always made me extremely nervous. I remember, I think it was back in 2nd grade, where it was the first day of school. The times before that, I think it was fine, kindergarten, 1st grade, right? Only 2 years of school, taking the 3rd year of school. And this time was weird because I got sick. I threw up on the first day of school. And I don't know if that caused a trigger or something like that, but the years after that would be pretty hard for me to start school for another year. So what would happen is that each successive year I would get so nervous and so anxious that I would get sick, I would throw up or, so like, let's say 3rd grade year, with my anxiety got so bad that I decided to stay home. I was like, I don't feel too well. I got so anxious, I didn't feel so well, so I stayed home for the first day, and I missed that first day of school. And then 4th grade, the first day of school was always so nerve-wracking for me for some reason. I just got that anxious feeling, and I had to distract myself from feeling that way. And then I think it was when it got to middle school where, I don't know, there was a couple of years, it's almost like on and off, where like, oh, I can handle it. But then some years it's like an off year where it gets so bad, like, so it was like 7th grade year, where my anxiety was so bad when it came to the first day of school that for a whole month I was basically, each morning I got super anxious to go to school, and I would pace around, and I would like throw up every morning because I was so anxious to go to school that, I don't know, it just seems like if I didn't do that, then I would feel this anxiety. And so it could have been a compulsion, just like, if I do this, then the anxiety will go away. And so I managed, through the later years of school, especially into high school, to be able to manage that really well. And then 11th grade year seemed to be another off year where I was like, I was anxious, I almost, threw up in the morning. And yeah, so this year, I know, since I've prepared pretty well in terms of relaxation techniques and being able to understand the mind more and how it works and how the anxiety is able to play in your mind. Because when you know that, then you can be the one that's like, wait a minute. So yeah, and that didn't stop there. It was also performances. So in elementary school we had like these performances for school, and I would get super anxious right before then. Oh man, just sweating, and of course it hits the stomach. That's where my anxiety hits me. It hits me in the stomach, and so it was really hard for me to do like presentations in front of the class. Throughout middle school also, like, book reports and presentations, I just got really worked up over that. And so that lasted for quite a while until I don't know, I think I just maybe got more comfortable, or I was more like spontaneous, like where I didn't give my mind enough time to think about the situation. I was just like, I'll go first, then I won't have to overanalyze the situation. But then I think it's just like when you master your brain and your anxiety, then it doesn't bother you anymore. So I'm gonna work on toward that. There's also some other things at school that I was like, anxious about, especially like, I know just all these people around me. I think that's one of those things that really got to me at school, where I was surrounded by all these people. And I always thought in my head, like, I'm just like walking down, and I could just be walking to class, and then I just see somebody, I'm like, oh, what if they're talking about me in their own minds, or what if they're thinking about me, and all this stuff just like walking to class. So that was super anxious, and I had this thing where I always I felt like I kept looking at people, like I was like checking, like a compulsion, because I was like being surrounded by all these people, and so that's why I felt like I kept looking at the same people. And so I felt like that, and then that built on top of other stuff too, So I think I realized in fighting in understanding anxiety, I realized, I don't really care if people think about me, Just I've been thinking like, I'm not going to put my head down. I'm not going to look at the ground and, let my anxiety be like, oh, be afraid. I'm going to stick my head up, forward, and walk forward. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be scared and look, like frightened. I'm going to keep my face up, and I'm going to be confident, I'm going to stick my face up, I'm not going to let it fall down. And same with, seeing people look back at me. I don't care if they look at me. I'm another person. They're all people. I don't really care. I mean, I'm only assuming that they're saying stuff, and in terms of looking at people, who cares, really, I mean, they're people, aren't they? So they're part of the surroundings. I think what happens is I would realize, like, oh yeah, I look at this person and then I attach a feeling or a thought to them. So if it's anybody else, then it's just like, oh, they're just a person there, But if it's that person that I attach a feeling to, every time I look at them, it reaffirms that feeling in my mind. And so I just have to realize that they're just people, They're just like everyone else, So there's really no special meaning behind that. And yeah, hopefully this year I can use my anxiety in a smarter way, like breathe, meditate, be mindful of the situation. But yeah, this year I have the tools. I have the tools and I have the knowledge. The more I build upon that knowledge, as I read up there, fight anxiety with knowledge. And so I realized that the more I learn about the brain and how it functions, how it responds, how it deals with things, the more I can master my own brain and its environment. So even if I deal with something with anxiety, if I understand how the brain works, how I respond, physiologically, whatever, then I can be like, I'm a master of my own brain. I don't have to be nervous. I can just think about it and be like, wait a minute, I know what's going on here. I'm not gonna let you trick me, So hopefully this year I can start that. Last year of high school, so better start it now or never. Thank you guys for watching. This is the Anxiety Journals, number 6, School Anxiety.